Hello and welcome back to another Microsoft Flight Simulator video. In this video, I'm going to help you set up a Honeycomb Bravo throttle quadrant with Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. So one of the big things is with 2024, you can set up custom profiles for each aircraft if you like. Now, I honestly have been rolling with one setup, and it's worked really well with Flight Sim 2020, and I'm also using that with Flight Sim 2024. So a prefacer, a lot of this setup is going to be based on the original default setup that comes included with Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 by default, and the changes are all going to be just the quadrants themselves. So for my setup, I have axis here for throttle. I have my prop, and I have my conditioner here. On the last one is my spoiler. So I have everything down in the detent position to start off with the exception of my throttle and the speed brake itself. So the first thing you want to do within the sim is go into the Bravo, of course, and you want to figure out what axis is what axis. So to do so, click by search by input and just move that detent a little bit. And as you see, as I moved it, it went ahead and showed me that this axis right here is our axis Y and what I currently have set for it. Now, as you see there on the screen, I have axis Y, which is this guy here, our axis Y. I have it currently set for conditioner level 1 and lever 2, just for the axis. And I also have it set for mixture 1 axis 0 to 100%. So to change it, all you have to do is click on that one, and then it will ask you to choose an input and go ahead and do that input. So again, for my conditioner, I have it set for conditioner level 1, condition lever 2, and then mixture 1. And all our axis, mixture 1 is 0 to 100%. That is super important because the sim is picky. The other thing to keep in mind is if you click on the little gear next to it, I also have them all inverted. This is also super important because if you have them the other way, it's going to think 0 is here and 100% is down. So you certainly could do it that way if you'd like to, your preference. Okay, so keep that super in mind. Now, you're asking, why do I have it 1 and 2? Well, some planes have 2 axes for a lever. I have 1 axis for that lever, and that's why I'm rolling simply with this one here. Okay, so that is the conditioner lever. Now, I also have a button bound, so I'm going to click search by input for the back and release it. And now I have condition lever, I can't say lever for some reason, lever 1 cutoff, decrease condition lever 1, and then the same thing for 2. This will cut off the fuel. So example, if you're in the Kodiak, if you bring it down all the way, it will cut off the fuel, which would then cut off the engine. Super handy. Again, so I go by search input, I bring it down 1, it's button 27, bring it up, and set for that one, condition lever 1 cutoff, decrease condition lever 1, and do the same thing for 2. You can also do 3 and 4 if you really wanted to do that, if you have an engine that has, if you're flying a plane that has 4 engines. And so let's move over to the next switch, which is the prop for me. So now, again, search by input. I'm going to go ahead and move it. And for that one, I have prop 1 axis, propeller 1 axis, and propeller 2 axis is bound to this one. Again, depending on what axis you have, it may be different, right? You may have these swapped around. You may not have 2 for the throttle. So don't pay so much attention to this, but simply move the axis that you want to be the propeller. In this case, it is axis R, or R axis Z, the Z axis. Again, propeller 1, propeller 2 axis. And this will then increase the propeller. Remember, super big tip, click on that gear and set it to invert. That is super, super important. Now, I also have, of course, a detent for that one. So search by input, bring it down, bring it back up. Button 26 is toggle feather switch 1, toggle feather switch 2. So, which means that when the detent goes back, it's selecting button 26. It's going to switch the propellers to feather. So when they're in here, they're feather. When they're back up, they will no longer be feather. So if you want that one, that is the easy way to do that. Now I'm going to go back one to the speed brake really quick. So input, move the axis, and here is where I have the spoiler. This is the spoiler axis. Again, gear, invert. Super, super important. I can't say that enough times, can I? All right. Now we're going to move over to the actual throttle itself. Now, my Honeycomb has this wiring issues that a lot have, which is inside the quadrant itself, there's a couple wires that are disconnected. Now, I have reconnected the first one, which I'm going to tell you in just a second. So this axis here, I'm going to go to remove. I have a little band on it so I can move them together. This axis here has nothing. So search by input. If I move it, nothing happens. Left axis X has nothing assigned to it. It's just for show. It's just for show. Okay. Now, so I can definitely remove that, but I've gotten used to holding two throttles together, so I don't. So again, this axis does nothing. So disregard it. But in this video, we're going to show you now the throttle axis. Okay. So search input. Move the throttle, and as you can see on the screen, axis for throttle 1 axis through 4 is all for this one here. So if I'm flying a plane that has 4 throttles on it, this one throttle moves all 4 of them. And just like the last ones, what is it? Gear, invert. Super important. Okay. Now, how do we get the plane to go in reverse? Well, that's this next one here. So search by input. If I bring it down, bring it forward, bam. So hold throttle, reverse thrust, throttle 1 cut, throttle 1 decrease, and the same thing for throttle 2 and decrease throttle. If you have all of these, all 6 of these, and then of course, if you have a 4-engine plane, you want to do 3 and 4, the same things, right? If you have all 6 of these bound in any aircraft so far that I've seen in Flight Sim 2024, the throttles will kick, the reverse axis will kick in once you go into detent mode, right? So that includes the Asobo Max, the Phoenix, which recently was released for Flight Sim 2024. The Kodiak does it, the Cessna 408, and what else did I try? The Caravan, and etc. I have not had a problem once I made this axis detent into those 6 things. Again, keep in mind, if you have a plane that has 4 engines, you have to do that for all 4 of those. Okay, so I hope this video helped you. Again, the rest of it's all default. The gears, whatever is default by Microsoft. All the autopilot is default Microsoft. My flap lever is all default Microsoft. I have custom switches here. The first one here I can show you really quick. You search by input. If you flip it up, flip it back down, I have the pitot heat. So when I switch this up, the pitot heat's on. When I switch it down, it turns off. The second one, I have fuel pump. And then the third one is fuel pump number 2. The last one, I have the yaw damper. And I also think I have something bound to this second to last. Nope, I don't. So these other 3 here, I don't think I have anything selected for. Or actually, no, I do have something selected for this one. Let me do that real quick. That's the toggle master ignition switch. So that comes in handy when you're using the alpha. Sometimes if you switch the alpha key over to both, or to start the engine, you also need to have the master switch on. So that's the switch I enabled just for the Kodiak. But again, this setup works for all planes so far that I've seen in Flight Sim 2024 without having to worry about custom setups for each single one. But it is available in Flight Sim 2024 if you do wish to do that. For example, if you want to move things around, For example, the A319 isn't going to need a prop or a conditioner, so you can move those around and spread things out however you like. I like to keep the same setup for all my flights. Makes it super easy. So hope you like this video. Give me that thumbs up. And if you're still rocking that Honeycomb Bravo, thumbs up as well. We'll see you for the next video. Take care.